What's up, guys? One Koala Man here, bringing you episode, what, 20? Is it 20? Yes, episode number 20. And this isn't the outfit I'm going to be wearing in this episode review because I forgot to record the intro. So this is the intro for episode 20 of our fairy tale reviews. I don't know what happened. I could have sworn I recorded it, but obviously I didn't, so I apologize for that. But as usual, be sure to like if you enjoyed today's episode. Be sure to hit subscribe. It would mean the absolute world to me. Be sure to share it to everybody you know that would, that you think would be interested in what we do, because I know we don't really do reviews like every other channel does reviews. I think we might lean more towards that, later on, but for right now, I like doing this style of reviews. So that's about it. Also, follow me on Twitter. Link will be in the description down below. And that's about it. So let's get this mother underway. Well, let's get this mother underway. So we start the episode off with Natsu, Lucy, and Happy fishing, and I guess they're fishing for lunch, and Natsu gets this big giant fish, and Happy's super excited, and then Natsu burns it because he says it's so good when it's cooked, and Happy's getting all angry, and Natsu eats all of the fish for himself. So Natsu and Happy get in a big giant argument with each other. Happy flies away, and Natsu's like, Happy, and Lucy says something like, keep that tough guy attitude and you'll never get the girls to like you. And then that like strikes a nerve with Natsu, and he's like, will you just shut your mouth for once? I'm like, I don't know why he would do that, but whatever she said, or however she said it, it rubbed Natsu the wrong way. So I don't know what the situation behind that is. Alright, so now we get moved on from, the pond or the creek where, the squad was fishing, to the fairy tale archives where all the books and spells and all that good stuff are stored. And this mother is huge, like, not really huge, like width, is like tall, like really tall. Everything's super tall. And Mira Jane is, organizing everything, and Lucy wants to help. And Mira Jane says something about Lucy being attracted to Natsu's boyish charm. Lucy gets a little uneasy, falls off a ladder, and then she sees a picture on the ground of everybody when they used to be younger. There was Natsu, Lucy, Gray, not Lucy. Lucy wasn't in there. Natsu, Gray, Urza, Elfman, Kana, Magrab, everybody. Macau, Wakaba, every single person. And then she sees like a blue dragon, and she's saying, who's the blue dragon? And Mira's like, oh, that's Happy. I'm like, Happy? Happy used to look like that? That was legit. How come he's just a little blue cat right now? But then Mira Jane starts giving a little backstory of how Natsu and Happy actually met. So now we're at a flashback, and of course, to begin the flashback, Natsu and Gray are fighting, because they were always fighting. Every time they met up with each other when they were kids, they would always get in an argument, and Urza would be the one to stop them. And so Natsu had this like tree and like some forest or whatever, and he had a picture of Gray and a picture of Urza like tied up to the tree, and he'd always be punching the tree and like getting super angry with it, and he gave the tree one good punch, and that really hurt him, and this egg falls on Natsu. I'm like, wow. And he goes back to the guild. He's like, look guys, I found a dragon egg. I'm like, oh shoot. And so everybody's saying, no way, that's a dragon. And so he decides that he wants to hatch it. And people thought he wanted to eat it or whatever. He's like, no, this is a dragon egg, see? Because it has like little marks that look like a dragon claw or whatever. And he's doing that and all that good stuff. And also, before I forget, not Natsu, Mira Jane and Urza used to have a beefy argument, like a beefy rivalry just as big as Natsu and Gray. And Mira looked completely different. She acted way different than her little sweet adorable self now. She was like a little D-bag girl back in the day, back when she was younger. Oh my gosh, Urza was the same, Natsu Gray were the same. Kana wasn't really the same because she wasn't drinking so much, and Elfman, he's very shocking because he's like the manliest man now. Back then he was a little puss boy, and I was like, oh my gosh, ain't no way that could be Elfman. But sure enough, that was Elfman. And now we get kicked into meeting a new character who is Lizana. And Lizana is the youngest sister of Mira Jane and Elfman. And I don't know where Lizana is now because, you know, I haven't seen Lizana up until this point when she was a little child. So Lizana, I guess, likes Natsu, so she wants to help Natsu raise this egg, you know, as like a family, in the words of Lizana. And so she goes into, like, she transforms into a bird, and she says birds are so good with keeping eggs warm. And Natsu's like, oh, if I have to keep it warm, I'll just cook it. And so he starts breathing fire, and everybody like says, no, 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 definitely not cooking it. And so Lizana sits on it, and bada bing, bada boom, you know, she's warming up the egg. So now we're at the Magnolia Southgate Park, and Lizana, Natsu, and Happy in the egg form are in, you know, the park talking about whatever, and Natsu gets chosen, so to speak, from Happy as an egg because, you know, Lizana's doing, you know, keeping it warm, but the egg's not really happy, and so the egg jumps into Natsu's arms, and Natsu decides to keep it warm. And so Lizana builds a little house, like she turns into a giant purple rabbit. She builds a house for it, like a base or whatever. And so they decide to keep it warm in there, and they're like puppies. It's like puppy love. That's what I meant to say. They're not like puppies. It's like little puppy love. Like they like each other. They're little kids. And Lizana's saying like, maybe one day I could be your real wife or whatever. I'm like, oh, isn't that so cute? But yeah, they're like a little husband and wife playing house. And I know a lot of people used to play house. I used to play house when I was in daycare. I used to love that game. That game, House. Oh my gosh, that was fun. That was a fun game. So the next day, Natsu and Lizana are going through the forest so Natsu can show Lizana where the egg fell on him, and then a forest Vulcan comes out and ambushes them, and Natsu is fighting the forest Vulcan because he says he's the dad and he has to protect his family. So I thought that was pretty unique, pretty mature of Natsu. And so he's fighting the Vulcan, and he beats the Vulcan down. So later that day, Natsu and Lizana are in their base again with Happy, as an egg form again, and it's like really storming out there, and Lizana again mentions that she could be his future wife, and I'm thinking, wow, that's a pretty big step for them too. And so I was thinking, it's pretty cute for her to say that. And so they go back to sleep or whatever, and someone comes in and steals the egg. So the next morning they wake up, the egg is gone. So Natsu races to the guild and questions every single person, and Mira gets really offended. So Natsu wants to pick a fight with Mira, all that good stuff. And turns out that Elfman, little puss boy Elfman, was the culprit. And his excuse was that they like toss and turn, Natsu and Lizana toss and turn, and he was scared for the egg, so he kept the egg safe. So I was like, are you kidding me? Oh, that was weird. That was a weird sound I made. But are you seriously kidding me? Elfman is such a little softy. Oh my gosh. Compared to how he is now, he is a complete softy. But anyways, he like puts the egg on the floor, and the egg actually starts hatching. And little Happy's so cute. Oh my gosh. Happy, you know, comes out of the egg, lands right on Natsu's head, and he's just so cute. Everybody's saying how cute little Happy is. He's just so cute. I love little Happy, but Plu is cuter. I love Plu a lot more than little baby Happy. But baby Happy is pretty high up there on that list. So that ends the flashback of how they met up. And also, Natsu's like, you know, everybody's all happy, and that's how he gets the name, because everybody was arguing earlier about like who stole it, and now everybody's all happy, and so that's why Natsu names it Happy because he made everybody happy. And also, he's like, come on guys, check out this dragon, and everybody's saying, oh, that's not a dragon. And Redis, I believe that's his name, Redis or Cletus, I think it's Redis, the painter, he's like, I'll just paint it as a dragon anyways. So that's how Happy became a dragon in the picture that Lucy saw in the beginning of the episode. So now we're back in the present, and Lizana is now a teenager. You know, he's helping, she is helping Natsu and Happy's argument, and I'm thinking, okay, so there's Lizana as, like, you know, is present, and then it gets kicked back to Natsu again. So that little segment was the past of Lizana helping out Natsu and Happy because she said they were family and whatnot. And so this is the present. This is the real present. And Natsu goes back, and Happy and Natsu, you know, make bygones be bygones because Natsu has like a big pile of giant fish from the beginning. And he's like, do you forgive me now? And he's like, of course, I'm happy. And so they fix their problems. So the biggest question now is, who is Lizana? Well, I guess we already know who Lizana is. Where is Lizana in all of this? Because we have not been introduced to Lizana as a teenager yet, officially. Except for the past present thing or whatever that just happened with Natsu Happy getting their problems fixed with Lizana back in the day. But anyways, where is she now? I hope that really gets answered because I would like to know who she is and where she is, pretty much. So that does it for today's episode. I saw I was kind of all over the place. That's kind of how this episode was. It was kind of all over the place. Not as over the place as the one where Natsu like devours the village. That one was ridiculous. That one was freaking ridiculous. But that does it for today's episode for Fairy Tail. I was going to say Attack on Titan, but Fairy Tail. Alrighty guys, you already know I don't like to end off these episodes without a question of the day. And today's question for the day is, since we got a backstory of technically Happy, who would you want to see a backstory of? Because I believe, okay, on Thursday's episode of Attack on Titan, we got Mikasa's backstory from, you know, Attack on Titan. So now we're getting Natsu and Happy's backstory. So whose backstory in Fairy Tail would you want to see? Me, I would personally want to see my boy Loxus. I want to see why he's such a cocky D-bag now. What makes him so menacing in the Fairy Tail Guild? He's so cool. Oh my gosh, I can't explain how cool Loxus is. Loxus is like the coolest guy. I'm not even cool enough to say his name. So, let me know down in the comments below whose backstory would you like to get to know. And that does it for today. Again, leave a like if you enjoyed today's episode. We are on number 20, or oh my goodness, 20 of our Fairy Tail reviews. And as always, guys, keep it cool.